For 3 years, the most watched race in technology has been a race for the best answer. Whose model scores highest? Whose chatbot sounds smartest? And while everyone was watching that race, it quietly stopped being the one that matters. The next company to define this industry won't win it by building a better chatbot. It may not build a chatbot at all, because the war moved from machines that answer to machines that act, and most of the field is still fighting the last one. This is the control room, where we watch the systems shift underneath the headlines without the hype or the fear. Today, the AI race quietly changed, and almost everyone is fighting the wrong war. Here's the race you already know. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, each a few months ahead of the last, trading the lead benchmark by benchmark. The model makers are enormous. OpenAI runs near $25 billion a year. And Anthropic, after explosive growth, has climbed into the same range, on some measures passing it. So the race is real, and the companies in it are some of the most valuable on Earth. But look at what's happening to the thing they actually sell. The price of intelligence is collapsing. Through the price war of the last 2 years, the cost of a given level of model intelligence fell by roughly 90 to 97%. The same capability that cost $30 to $60 a million words in 2023 now costs cents. And it isn't one company cutting prices to win share. Google, Anthropic, the open source models, all converging on the same falling line. Because once a capability can be copied, its price falls to the cost of running it. When everyone can buy the same intelligence for almost nothing, the best chatbot stops being a moat. It becomes a commodity. A better chatbot is just a better version of the thing that's becoming free. So watch where the serious money is actually moving. A chatbot is a model behind an input box. You ask, it answers, and the exchange ends there. An agent is that same model wired into your tools, your data, your approvals. It takes a goal and does the work. It reads the ticket, queries the system, drafts the action, and waits for sign-off. Ask and answer becomes observe and act. In 2025, fewer than 5% of enterprise software applications had a task-specific agent inside them. Gartner's estimate for the end of 2026, 40%. From under 5 to 40 in a single year, that's the steepest adoption curve enterprise software has seen since the move to the cloud. And the incumbents are repositioning around it, fast. Salesforce's agent product passed $800 million in annual recurring revenue, up 169% in a year, and the company now tells its whole story as an agent company, not a database one. Microsoft says more than 200,000 organizations have now built over 1 million custom agents on its platform. And it isn't one or two firms. Across enterprise software, the database companies, the cloud platforms, the productivity suites, the pitch has quietly shifted in a single year from talk to your data to let it act on your data. When every serious vendor repoints at the same target inside 12 months, that's not a feature cycle. That's the market deciding where the next decade gets fought. None of those numbers are about a better chatbot. They're about who owns the place the work gets done. And here's the part the benchmark race hides. An agent doesn't ask one question and stop. It plans, calls tools, retrieves when something fails, checks its own work. One task can spend tens to hundreds of times the compute of a single chatbot reply, which means the value quietly leaves the model and moves downstream. By one set of 2026 cost reports, roughly 72% of what enterprises spend running AI now sits outside the model bill entirely. That outside the model layer has a name when you list it out. The orchestration that decides what the agent does next, the retrieval that feeds it your data, the retrieves and the evaluation that catch its mistakes, the monitoring and the guardrails that make it safe enough to let near a real system. The model is the engine. That's the rest of the car. Investors have noticed. The quiet thesis on Wall Street isn't pick the winning model. It's that the model is the cheap, copyable part, and the durable revenue is in the layer the agents actually run on. The capital is concentrating to match. By mid-2026, The top 10 deals in the agent space took roughly 78% of all the money invested in it. The money isn't spreading out across 100 startups. It's pooling, the way it does right before a giant forms. And the prize is not small. To put it in scale, Gartner's 2026 forecast puts total AI spending at about $2.5 trillion, with Agentic AI the fastest growing piece of it, on a path, by their estimate, from roughly 2% of enterprise software revenue today to nearly a third of it within a decade. That is the size of the ground everyone is now fighting over. A giant isn't forming around the best answer, it's forming around the infrastructure of action. If you want the shift underneath the headlines every week, subscribe The Control Room, The Signal, every week. Now, the restraint, because this is the part the pitch decks leave out. The agent shift is real, and it is also oversold. Gartner calls 2026 the year of disillusionment for agents. It puts them at the very peak of inflated expectations, the point right before the fall. Its own analysts' words, most agent projects today are early-stage experiments, mostly driven by hype and often misapplied. And the forecast that matters most for anyone tempted to bet the company on it. More than 40% of agentic AI projects will be canceled by the end of 2027. Not because the idea is wrong, because the execution is hard. They get killed by cost. When an agent that retrieves 100 times quietly runs up a bill no one modeled. They get killed by unclear value, when a flashy demo can't be tied to a number that moved. And they get killed by the absence of controls, because handing a system the power to act, without the guardrails to govern it, is a risk most enterprises won't carry twice. This is the shape every transformative technology traces: a spike of inflated expectations, then a hard fall as the easy demos meet the hard reality, then a slower climb as the survivors work out what actually holds up. Agents are sitting at the top of that spike right now. The fall is the cull. What climbs out the other side is the real industry, smaller than the hype and far more durable. So the honest read isn't agents win, it's that the battleground moved, from the conversation to the action, and most of what's being built on the new ground will not survive. The next giant won't be the one with the best chatbot. It will be the one that owns the layer where agents do the work, and is still standing after the cull. For 3 years, we measured this industry by the quality of its answers. The answer got cheap, the work did not. The companies fighting to build a smarter voice in a box are fighting a war that's already commoditizing underneath them. The ones building the systems that act are fighting the next one. So here's the pattern to watch. The next time a company tells you it has the future of AI, ask one question. Does it answer, or does it act? A relabeled chatbot still ends at the reply. A real agent reaches into a system and changes something, and someone gets paid every time it does. The company that ends up owning that moment, the moment of action, not the moment of conversation, won't need the smartest voice in the box. It will own the layer the whole industry has to pass through to get anything done. That's not a better chatbot. That's the next giant. So everyone is fighting a war. Most of them are fighting the wrong one. This is the control room. Here is the pattern. The implications are yours. One last thing, on purpose. The voice you've heard is AI. The images are AI-generated or open-licensed. Every figure was researched and checked by a human, and every source is named in the description. The control room, the signal, every week.